Okay, now let me ask you a question. Now, what do you want me to talk on? If you ask me any question, and based on the question, I'll develop my talk today. You ask me any question. I can talk on Bhagavad Gita. I can talk, suppose the people who are already exposed to the teaching everyday class, and you're also here. So let me talk something general so all of you can benefit. You ask me some question, and based on the question, I'll develop the teaching talk. Okay? That's fine?
Yes.
Yeah. You also can ask the question. And then I'll try to be very, very slow. Okay? I know I'm very fast. I'll try to be slow. Any of you can ask any question. Based on your question, I'll pick up my talk today. I'm very happy to see all of you again today. Thank you for coming. It's good.
May I ask a question?
Of course, I'm here to answer a question.
So, if life struggles, or if one is struggling in life, how can I imagine? How can I manage to concentrate on the real things, the basic things?
Okay. Have you all heard the question? Did you hear the question? You didn't hear the question? Okay. The question is, please tell me whether you have heard the question or not. Do you hear me?
Please, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. She's asking, may I know your name?
My name is Natalie.
Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice name. I'll tell you Sanskrit name it is. I'll tell you the meaning later on.
Okay.
See, Natalie has a question. When we go through struggles in life, how to manage them, or how to focus, how to concentrate, because the problems in life, the struggles in life really distract us. We're not able to be focused. That's the question. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, this is right.
You can sit here.
Wait.
No, sit here.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
So let me sit so I can see all of you. So I can see you all. See, the question is how to concentrate in the things which you have to concentrate. How to be focused in things that we have to focus when we're going through problems in life. In fact, when we are going through problems in life, the problems will grab all our attention. And anything which worries you, the worry will hold your attention. You will be lost in worrying, or you'll be distracted by your problems in life. Then you cannot focus. Very difficult. That is why I tell you, the study of the scriptures, study of the Bhagavad Gita, study of the Vedanta will definitely help you. How it will help you, I'll tell you. Because the Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads help you understand, first of all, the purpose of living this life. The purpose of living this life. What am I living this life for ultimately? The goal of a human life has to become very clear first. When we genuinely want help, suppose you go to the doctor. When you're very sick physically, what do? When you're suffering, lot of pain you have, what do? You're helpless. When you're helpless, you seek help. Don't you seek help? What do? We don't go to the doctor. And when we go to the doctor, we trust the doctor. You go to the doctor seeking help and you trust the doctor because you are helpless. Somehow you want to get rid of the pain, physical pain or illness you're going through. Isn't it true? Similarly, when we need help, when I'm struggling in my life, I'm going through a lot of problems in my life, a lot of things are really harassing me, haunting me emotionally, not physically. Physically, I'm okay. I eat very well in the morning breakfast. I have my lunch. I eat my dinner. And in Germany, we had to get 200 varieties of bread. Eat very well. Physically, we're okay. We also jog, run, and exercise. Go to gym. We keep fit physically, but mentally, mind is raw. Isn't it? Then, what is the solution? Then also we feel helpless. And about the government may help you to go meet this counselor or that counselor, this psychotherapist, this psychoanalyst or psychiatrist. You go different people. And they all can give you some solution, some medication or anti-depression medication and give you all those things. But there's no real solution. They only help you forget the problem. Or sometimes they can give you some solution which may help you accept the problem. But they really do not give you absolute solution because they do not even understand the actual problem. Temporarily, they give you some sort of solution, some medication, something that does help you. I'm not saying it is useless. It is not, because any medication, any treatment is within the realm of an order. So it does help you to some extent. But they cannot give you the absolute solution because they do not even diagnose the problem. So whereas Vedanta Shastram helps you diagnose, first of all, the problem, fundamental problem. And it helps you understand, first thing, you are exposed to the teaching, this Vedantic teaching. Definitely you will become, first thing, you will become very clear about the purpose of living this life. You don't need to simply accept the purpose of living this life just because some Vedanta teacher says, somebody says. You don't need to accept it. You are helped to analyze all that you want to achieve in your life. We are helped to analyze the goals we have in our lives. Suppose definitely every human being will be interested in making money. We're all interested in making money because we all need money. We all need a house to live. We all need other things, vehicle to travel. We need a car to drive to move around. So we need so many things in life. So nothing wrong. But so we do earn money and we do need certain infrastructure to live our lives. We need a house, we need a car, we need some job, we need some education. We need to have certain understanding. We need to have some friends to talk to, associate with, or we need a family. Need all those things. And we are working for all those things. And sometimes we want a break from every day getting up in the morning, going to same work, coming back again, cooking, eating, working hard, slogging in the cold weather and in the other weather. So I want some break from my routine. So I want to go for a holiday. Let me go to Spain for a good get to have better sun. Let me go to India, or let me go here or there. You want some break from routine. So you want to have some break. You want to pursue some pleasures in life. Therefore, we do all these things. So here Vedanta, first thing what it does is, it helps you analyze that what is that you want to have in life. It helps you analyze. You will tell, you may say, I want this, I want this, I want this. We all will say, what you want may be different, but all of us have so many wants. I may not exactly want what you want or she wants. She may not exactly what I want or you want. So, but all of us have different wants. All of us have some similar wants. All of us have some dissimilar wants also. We all have different wants. And if you ask this question, what do I want all these things for? What do I want this for? What do I want a house for? What do I want family for? What do I want good friends for? What do I want good education for? What do I want money for? What do I want to eat food for? What do I want to live this life for? You ask this question, definitely, ultimately, finally, you'll get an answer. What I really want is, I want to feel secure. I want to be comfortable. So what do you want to be secure for? What do you want to be comfortable for? If you ask the question, definitely you will say, finally, I want to be peaceful. I want to be mentally peaceful. And I want to be happy. Isn't it true? Finally, what do I want all these things for? Whatever you want, whatever I want, whatever she wants. If you ask the question, what do I want all these things? What do I want these things for? Ultimately, what do I want these things for? You ask the question. I want to be highly educated. Okay. What do I want education for? I want to be more disciplined. Okay. What do you want to be more disciplined for? I want to be more efficient, more equipped. What do you want to be equipped for? I want to get a better job. What do you want to get a better job for? Why do you want to get a better job? What do you want to get a better job for? I want to earn more money. 50,000 a year is not enough. I want 100,000, 150,000 a year. I want to earn more money for. If I have a better qualification, have better position, if I have better purse, more money. Ask the question, what do I want to have more money for? I want to spend as much as I want to. What do I spend the money? What do I want to spend the money for? I want to enjoy pleasures in life. I want to travel, I want to buy this, I want to buy this, I want to have better, I want to show off to my friends how I'm well off. Okay, what do you want to show all these things to your friends for? What do you want to travel for? What do you want to have big balance, bank balance for? Ask all this question. Finally, you say, finally, what I want is, really I want to be peaceful. I want to be happy. Where do you want to be happy? everywhere. When do you want to be happy? Always. With whom do you want to be happy? Only with Eva? No. Every human being I meet, every human being I associate with, anybody whom I associate with, I want to be happy with everybody. I don't want to be unhappy with anybody. That is what is called happiness. Being happy always, being happy everywhere, being happy with everybody, being happy in all situations is happiness. We ask what is happiness, is the definition of happiness. Being happy always, being happy everywhere, being happy with everybody, being happy in all situations is happiness. This is what is happiness. We do not even know what happiness is. Then we also ask the question, actually speaking, this is what I want. Once you understand what happiness is, you will say, this is what exactly I want. I ask you the question, do you want to be happy always or sometimes? Of course, there's no choice. You say what? Of course I want to be happy everywhere. Always. With everybody. In every situation, in every fraction of a second, I want to be happy. I don't want to be unhappy at all. This is not your answer. This is the answer implied, expected from every human being, irrespective of the culture, nationality, the language it speaks. Whether you are German or Polish, European or Asian, Hindu or Christian or Muslim, doesn't matter. This is the one thing sought after by all the human beings. So Vedanta makes you understand this first. So what is that which is sought after by all the human beings? One thing which is sought after. Only one thing which is ultimately, absolutely sought after by all the human beings of all times, of all places, of all cultures, is to be understood as the absolute, common, human, fundamental, ultimate end goal. Okay? When I say happiness is the ultimate, absolute, common, human, universal, common, human end goal. If I say, why do you say that? Not simply I want to say it. I make you understand right now here. Happiness is something which is fundamentally, basically, desperately sought after by all the people of all cultures, of all places, of all times. Isn't it true? People who lived before us, they wanted happiness or not? Peace, they wanted happiness. People who are living now, do they want happiness or not? People who are going to come in future generation, do you think they will not search for happiness? Understand? Therefore, that which is fundamentally, basically, desperately sought after by all people, of all times, of all cultures, of all places, is to be understood as the universal, absolute, ultimate, common, human goal, end. Is it clear now? You don't disagree with what I'm saying. If you don't agree with me, if what I say contradicts, you'd stop and ask me, is it true or not? Therefore, Vedanta first makes it very clear, happiness is the absolute end, ultimate end. So through all our accomplishments, through all our pursuits, through all our actions, through all our efforts, through all our sloggings, what we are really searching for, what we really seek ultimately is this happiness. And this has to be very clear. So Vedanta calls it moksha. Moksha is a Sanskrit word. We have another word, muktihi. Muktihi, moksha. Muktihi is a feminine gender word in Sanskrit. Moksha is a masculine gender word. That's all the difference. But it means freedom. Freedom. Human being, human mind seeks freedom. Human mind is searching for freedom. So freedom, happiness, what is the connection? Human mind is searching for freedom from unhappiness. Freedom from sorrow. If seeks freedom from sorrow means, it seeks freedom from sorrow means it seeks happiness. Is it clear? So freedom is a word implying happiness. Freedom from unhappiness is equal to happiness. It's clear? Therefore, ultimate goal of all of us is happiness. It is a common human universal end. And this is where we need to understand, and the same Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, helps us understand this. So first we need to be very clear. Yes, I am desperately searching for happiness. This has to become very clear. Yes, I am searching for absolute peace. I don't want this mental disturbance, the trauma, the turbulence, restlessness, agitation. So I want to be peaceful. I want happiness. If you say I want happiness, it means I want to be happy always. I want to be happy everywhere. I want to be happy with everybody. I want to be happy in all situations is equal to I want happiness. Is it clear? And the script Vedanta or Bhagavad Gita tells this. Happiness is something which is already there. Happiness is already there. Already there, but I don't have. Where is it? If it is sitting in the market, how can I get it? What is the use of it for me? Isn't it? Fortunately, luckily, it is not something which is available in a given market. If I want best sour bread, I have to travel all the way to Germany. It's not something like that. So happiness is something which is always, which is everywhere, which is in the home of everything. This is something new. We thought happiness means, now this is where we need to understand, we do not even know what happiness is. But we are very sure we want happiness. There we have no doubt. What we want is happiness, we are very sure. But we do not know that we do not know what happiness is. Not knowing what I am searching for, not knowing what happiness is, I am searching for happiness. Through everything. Of course, we are having this physical body, so we have natural biological needs, uncreated by us, naturally there. Hunger is there, thirst is there, natural calls are there. We have to eat, we have to drink. Therefore, even to fulfill our biological needs, we have to work hard. Get up in the morning, get ready, go to work, do some work, and there you have to please your people, subordinates, your boss, a manager, or your co-workers, your staff, your friends. You have to manage, handle, and you have to focus, you have to do your work. Money doesn't come easily. You have to spend your time and come back again, cook your food, eat. So even making money for livelihood involves a lot of effort, strain, and it is a must. In spite of all that, we need to remember this fact. I'm living this life, doing so many things, working hard to fulfill my natural biological needs in terms of hunger, thirst, etc. And sometimes we also get emotionally stuck with some people. He didn't call me, she didn't call me, I didn't call, I couldn't meet. Isn't it? So these things are all happening. But we have to remember this fact. Ultimately, even through our relationships, whether with the women or with the men, or with the family, or with the friends, relationship. A woman's relationship with a man or with another woman, or a man with another woman or a man, or friends, or families, relatives, any relationship also through all that, what we are searching is only happiness. Therefore, we need to be very clear, happiness is my ultimate choiceless end. And Bhagavad Gita tells this. Happiness is one thing which you need not attain, which you cannot attain. You know why? Because happiness is something which is already there, always there. Already there means it is always there. Always there means it is everywhere there. It is there everywhere. It is there with everything. No time, no place, no object. Happiness is not with. If that is what is happiness, then why do I become unhappy? Why there is unhappiness in my life? Why so much of unhappiness? Why there is so much of sorrow? Why there are struggles in life? I go through so many struggles in life that I cannot even focus. I cannot even concentrate. So first thing to manage these struggles, to be focused, what you need is first thing, the clarity about the purpose of living this life. That's very important. What I'm telling you is the real permanent solution. a temporary solution. I must be 100% convinced of the fact that I am living this life ultimately for my own happiness and peace of mind. We are not living for others, okay? There's no selflessness. Let us be frank. Let us be truthful here. Genuinely, we are all living our lives for our own happiness. Nobody is doing anything for anybody else's happiness. Promise. These are all facts. What I'm telling you are facts. And if there is happiness already, then why am I searching for happiness? Why there's unhappiness in my life? Why there is restlessness on my part? And here, if the question, that is your question, and the Gita gives another answer. See, every question, there's an answer. You are unhappy. There is unhappiness in your life. In spite of happiness being always everywhere with everybody, there is unhappiness also. That is purely because you are not knowing what happiness is. Now, all your unhappiness, all your sorrow, all your grief, all your complaints, all your struggles, all your problems are purely because you do not know what happiness is. This is the answer Vedanta gives. Okay, then what is the solution now? How can I get rid of, how can I resolve the unhappiness? How can I become free from unhappiness? How can I free myself from the hold of sorrow? Sorrow is holding on to you. You are not holding on to sorrow like this. Now I am holding on to the pillow, or pillow is holding on to me. Who is holding on to what? Am I holding on to the pillow, or pillow is holding on to me?
You are holding the pillow.
I am holding on to the pillow. Okay? So pillow cannot give me up. I cannot, I'm holding on to the pillow. So I can give up the pillow.
No thanks.
No sorrows for me. Is it clear now? Listen to me carefully. See, I am holding on to the pillow, so I can leave the pillow. But sorrow, I am not holding on to the sorrow. We are not holding on to the sorrow. We are not holding on to the unhappiness. Sorrow is holding on to us. Unhappiness is holding on to us. Is it clear? Therefore, we cannot give up sorrow. We cannot give up sorrow. We cannot give up unhappiness. We have to free ourselves from the hold of unhappiness. Got it? We have to free ourselves from the hold of unhappiness. We have to free ourselves from the hold of sorrow. Now the question is, how can I am in the grip of unhappiness? I am in the grip of sorrow. How can I free myself from the grip, from the hold of sorrow? You say, Bhagavad Gita says that happiness is always, happiness is everywhere, happiness is with everybody. What is happiness, happiness, happiness? Then why there is unhappiness? Unhappiness Sorrow is holding on to me tightly. How can I free myself from the hold of unhappiness? The question comes. And Bhagavad Gita tells you, happiness, unhappiness is holding on to you because you do not know what happiness is. Now the next question comes. Okay, the only solution to free yourself from the hold of unhappiness, to free yourself from the grip of unhappiness, to free yourself from the hold, the grip of sorrow, grief, problems, the only solution is you need to discover, you need to know what happiness is. The only solution. If you discover, if you know what happiness is, it is covered by ignorance. If you know what happiness is, then you are free from the hold of unhappiness, which is freedom. Is it clear? Mm-hmm. Now the next question comes. How can I know what happiness is? How to know happiness? How to understand what happiness is? How can I discover happiness? You say everywhere happiness is. Always happiness is. Happiness is with everybody. Which means happiness must be with me, you also. When I say happiness is with everybody, always, everywhere, and happiness must be with you also. Isn't it? With every one of us. How can I discover happiness? That's the question. And for which, again, the scripture says, happiness is not a state of mind. It's not a state of mind. Happiness is the very nature of the reality. Happiness is not that as you think something, not a state of mind.
But something
happiness,
you can feel?
No. Happiness is not. Happiness is the nature of reality. Okay. If you know what reality is, you will know what happiness is. Reality? What do you mean by reality? Reality means the truth. Truth means what? The truth of the everything. Truth of everything here. Truth of the whole world. Truth of time. Truth of space. Truth of every element. Truth of all the 5 elements. Truth of all the elementals. The only truth of all the living beings. The only truth of all the non-living things. The only truth of all the mobile and immobile beings. Animate and inanimate beings, the only truth of the entire universe. Oh, what do you mean by truth? The reality. The truth or the reality of the universe is that without which life is impossible, without which the world will not exist at all. The world cannot exist at all. There's something reality. See, there's a table, isn't it? There's a table. If you remove the wood, will there be table? So with reference to the table, wood is the reality. Table is a nice form. Table is a word. indicating a given form, isn't it? Which serves a given purpose. What is table? Table is a word indicating a given form. Doesn't indicate all the forms. Table does not indicate this or this or this or this. Table indicates that given form, which serves a given purpose, isn't it? And for that table, if you remove the wood, one thing called wood, remove just the wood alone, will there be table? Table will disappear. The form will disappear. The word will be meaningless. The purpose will be impossible. Form, name, and function. Isn't it? All the three will be meaningless, minus wood. Isn't it? The word called table, the form indicated by the word table, the purpose served by the table, all the three will be impossible, minus one thing called wood. Is it clear? With reference to this table, the truth, the reality is the wood. Okay, it is the wood which is the truth of this table, which lends existence for the form, which lends existence for the word, which lends existence for the purpose, the function. Is it clear? Similarly, in the same way, now I give the example here. The example is the grossest example, simplest example. Now I tell you, with reference to this incomprehensibly vast, huge universe, and where we're all part of this universe, understand? The whole universe, cosmos. With reference to this universe, now just as this table is nothing but a word indicating a given form, serving a given purpose, the whole world is also what? Nothing but form, name, and function. The whole world is full of things which are nothing but forms, names, and functions. Is it clear? Minus one thing. Just as the word, one thing called wood, the table will disappear. Similarly, there's one thing without which the whole universe will be non-existent. If I remove the word, table will be non-existent. Similarly, if I without one thing, the universe will be non-existent. Is it clear? The one thing that is called absolute reality, ultimate truth, the truth of the universe. Okay? Just as the wood, the truth alone is in the form of the table, the form, the name, and the purpose, that one reality, only one thing, only reality, which is there in the form of the universe. And that is called absolute reality, ultimate truth. So truth of the universe is truth of everything in the universe. The truth of the ocean is water. The truth of every wave is what? Water. Similarly, the truth of the whole world is the truth of everything in the world. Every being in the world. And here we do not know what that truth is. We do not know what that reality is. Naturally, we are all of us, all the human beings are born ignorant of the truth, born ignorant of the reality. There's no human being who's born with knowledge. Understand? It is very natural for all of us to be ignorant of the truth. So there's ignorance of the reality, ignorance of the truth, ignorance of the reality. So Bhagavad Gita tells, we do not know what that reality is. Therefore, we do not know what happiness is. Because happiness and reality are not two different things. Is it clear? Happiness and reality are not two different things. How? Now you can say sun and the light. Are they two different things? Brilliance and the sun, are they two different things? No. Sun and the brilliance are not separable. Why sun is bright? Brightness is the nature of the sun. Is it clear? Similarly, see, examples are gross examples. So we do not know what the word reality of the universe means. And therefore we do not know the nature of the reality also. So being ignorant of the reality is not wrong. It is natural. It is not sin. Not knowing what the reality is not a sin. Being ignorant of the reality is not a sin, not wrong. It is natural. So one can be ignorant. Nothing wrong. But one can't afford to be ignorant forever. So one has to know what the reality is. If you know what the sun means, you will definitely know what the effulgence means. Isn't it? You can't say, I know what sun, S-U-N sun, I know what the sun is, but I do not know what the effulgence means, what brightness means. You can't say that. Is it clear? Once you know the sun, you will definitely know what the effulgence means. Oh, I know what fire means, but I do not know what heat means. Can you say that? No. Because they're inseparable. If you know the fire, you will know the heat. What the heat means. Similarly, if you know what the reality is, you will definitely know what happiness is. Because happiness is the very nature of reality. It is not something as you think, some mind or feeling. No. Feeling is our problem, okay? That's why the problem is we mistake our feelings for happiness. Mistake pleasure for happiness. Mistake some emotional condition for happiness. No. We do not know what happiness is. So, Bhagavad Gita says the only solution is you have to discover what happiness is. We discover what happiness is, first of all, you have to accept the fact that you do not know what happiness is. Isn't it? That's why I told in the very beginning, when you feel helpless, utterly helpless, when you're sick, when you go to the doctor, you trust the doctor. You seek the doctor's help when you feel helpless, when you've been suffering with the pain. Similarly, here also, emotionally you're struggling, you don't know what to do, then there's a doctor is, or scripture is the medicine. And you have to have trust first. That is the medicine. And that medicine, you can say the medicine is useful or useless only after making use of the medicine. Isn't it? You don't even take the medicine. And can you say, go and tell the doctor, I'm going to file a case against you. The medicine didn't work. No. You cannot sue, isn't it? Why? You cannot wait to have the medicine. You have to make use of the medicine to say whether the medicine works or not. Isn't it? Similarly here, when we say Shastram has the teaching, which is the medicine. And you have to make use of the Shastram, the scripture, Bhagavad Gita, in terms of studying it. Then you can say whether it works or not. So here, so you need to discover, Gita says, Upanishads say, the Vedanta Shastram says, you need to discover what happiness is. To free yourself from the hold of unhappiness. And you do not know what happiness is. And to discover that, you need to discover the very reality. Where is the reality? If you know what the reality is, you will definitely know what happiness is. Because reality and happiness are not two different things. When you see the wood, brown color and the wood, can you separate? The wood has its own color, inseparable, isn't it? If you know the wood, you definitely know what? The color of the wood. It's a color. It's a color is imperceptible. When I say nature, if you know the sun, you know the brilliance. If you know the reality, you know what happiness is. Now the only solution is to free yourself from the hold of unhappiness, grip of unhappiness. You have to discover what happiness is. To discover what happiness is, you have to discover what the reality is. Is it clear? Therefore, discovery of the reality is equal to discovery of happiness. Discovery of happiness is equal to discovery of freedom from unhappiness. Is it clear now? So, discovery of the reality is equal to discovery of freedom from unhappiness. And discovery of the reality is knowledge of the reality. Knowledge of the reality is equal to freedom from unhappiness, which is happiness. Is it clear now? I'm going step by step. Now the question comes, do you have any choice here? No choice. No choice. Now next question. How can I discover the reality? How can I discover the reality? And as I told you, reality of the whole cosmos. Reality means the truth of the whole cosmos is the truth of time, the truth of space, truth of every element, truth of all the 5 elements, truth of every elemental, truth of all the elementals, truth of every being here, truth of non-living thing, truth of a living being, truth of a mobile being, truth of an immobile being, truth of everything that is here is one and the only the truth, only same truth. Therefore, you are here as part of the world. The truth of the whole universe is there as the truth of yourself. Okay? Just as the truth of the entire ocean in terms of water is there as the truth of every wave. Similarly, the truth of the entire universe is there as the truth of every one of us, every being here. Therefore, scripture says, the truth of the whole universe, being the truth of every individual being which forms part of the whole universe. The truth is available for recognition. Truth is available for discovery as one's own self, in one's own mind, as the truth of one's own self. Is it clear? Now the question comes, oh, the truth, the reality of the whole universe is available for discovery as the truth of every individual, means as truth of my own self. Yes. What do you mean by that? The truth of the whole universe available for discovery as the truth of one's own self and the truth of every individual means, what do you mean? If you ask the question, again the answer comes. This is where the scripture stops and asks the question, do you know what you are? Do you know who you are? And we'll all feel like jumping and answering, yes, I know. My father is from West Germany. My mother is from here. I'm a beloved daughter of my parents. This is what I am, you will say. Again the answer comes, no. What you know about yourself is not wrong, but you do not know about your own self. What you know about yourself is relative information. You're talking about your body. When you say I'm daughter of so-and-so, means you're talking about your body. And here scripture will say, come on, let me not ask you any more questions. Let me tell you bluntly one thing. I'm not a scripture tells you. You do not know what you are. You know you are. You know you are. You know you're a human being.
Hello.
You are a woman. You know you are a man. You know.
That was live.
Unmute them.
No.
With the participants. Yeah, finished.
Okay.
So you know you are. You know you're a human being. You know you're a daughter of so-and-so. You know you're a son of so-and-so. But really, you do not know what you are. You know you are, but you do not know what you are. And you do not know that you do not know what you are. Therefore, if you know what you are, then you know what this entire universe is. Knowing what I am is actually knowing what the whole world is. If you know wave is water, you know the entire ocean is water. Therefore, you don't need to know everything else now. Just discover what you are. So here you need to understand the fact that you do not know that you do not know what you are. And to first of all be convinced of the fact, yes, I do not know what I am. You must be convinced of the fact that you do not know what you are. Once you're convinced of the fact, then you will say what? Yes, I'm ignorant of what I am. I should know what I am. Once you're prepared to know, let me know what I am, then the scripture will teach you, help you, how to arrive at what you are. Is it clear? Once you arrive at what you are, my God, that's all. That once you discover what you are, see, I'm telling you these are all the important things. First of all, you must be convinced of the fact that you do not know what you are. And to be convinced of the fact also, you don't need to be convinced by yourself. There's a Bhagavad Gita has its own methodology. Vedanta Shastram, the Vedanta, the Upanishad, the scripture has the methodology to help you understand that you are ignorant of yourself. So Gita study, first the exposure to the teaching, first will help you understand the fact that you do not know what you are. Okay? You have to know your ignorance. You must know that you are ignorant of yourself. What knowledge first you get? First, you get the knowledge of your ignorance of yourself. Isn't it?
Würdest du print übersetzen? Ignorance.
No, first of all, you must have the knowledge of your ignorance of yourself. Is it clear? It's very important. If you don't know, no, I don't know, I'm ignorant or not, then it won't work. You must be 100% clear. Yes, I do not know what I am. And to know that you do not know what you are, to help you understand your ignorance, to help you know your ignorance, the exposure to the teaching is important. Exposure to the teaching will help you understand your ignorance first. That's the methodology. And being exposed to the teaching, when you know that you are definitely, you're convinced of the fact that you are ignorant of yourself, then the desire to know what I am will be there. Once the desire is there, then you need a means of knowledge. And same scripture which helps you discover your ignorance of know your ignorance, serves as a means of knowledge of discovering what you are. So when you, isn't it? The means, the Gita study or Vedanta study serves as a means of knowledge. Suppose you all want to see me here. You want to know, okay, I'm here. You want to see me. How do you see me? Keeping your eyes closed or opening? Open. So you have to keep your eyes open to see somebody on fat lady sitting in front of us and wearing an orange dress. Is it clear? So you have to keep your eyes open. You have to make use of your eyes. And she's talking something which makes sense. To know that, you have to make use of your ears. Similarly, to have the knowledge of what you are, you need a means of knowledge. To have the knowledge that there is light, you need eyes, isn't it? Eyes serve as means of knowledge of the object called light. Your hearing power serves as a means of knowledge of the sound. Similarly, to know what you are, thereby to know what the reality of the whole universe is, you need a means of knowledge. And that means of knowledge is, instrument of knowledge is the study of the scripture. Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Vedanta. So once you study Vedanta properly, it will help you discover what you are essentially. What you are physically, what your appearance, physical appearance is, that you can know. Go and stand in front of a mirror. See, know your physical appearance, you can stand in front of the mirror. But to know what you are essentially, you need scripture is the mirror. The words of Vedanta serve as mirror, which reflect what you are. Understand? And you have to study the scripture systematically with the help of people who have learned properly. And with a teacher who has learned properly, who knows how to help you understand. Is it clear? And once you understand through this study, once you understand what you are essentially, in the light of the knowledge of what you are, you will understand what this whole universe is essentially. In the light of knowledge of what you are, your perspective will change. Your perspective will change. Your perspective of yourself will change. Your perspective of the world also will change. You don't need to do anything. Understand? Your perspective will change. Now you will see the world in the light of knowledge. Isn't it? Suppose if there's darkness everywhere here. Imagine if there's darkness everywhere here. And you walk in here. What will you do? Don't know where Eva is sitting, where sofa is, where the table is. Every darkness. You just come struggling in darkness. You may fall, you may break things. You don't know. But there's bright light. What will you do? You walk comfortably. Where to put your step? Come sit comfortably there. Isn't it? Similarly, here in the light of the presence of the light of knowledge of what you are essentially. Your perspective will change. In darkness, when you're walking, you may touch like this. Is it sofa, a chair, a table? Oh, looks like sofa. Isn't it? The light of the bright light, this is sofa, that is table, this is wall, very clear. Things fall in their place. Similarly, in the light of knowledge of what you are, your perspective will change. Your perspective of yourself will be different. The perspective of the world will be different. And in the light of knowledge of what you are, you will know what happiness is. And in discovering yourself, you have discovered what happiness is. When you discover what happiness is, then you don't need to undo unhappiness. Unhappiness would have resolved by then. Is it clear? This is the briefest teaching I can tell you. It's only introduction. It is called, what I have said to you today is an introduction to the introduction to the introduction. It's a preschool teaching before the lower kindergarten. Is it clear? And here, once it is very clear for me, then why should I break my head to know anything else in the world? To live my life, to earn my livelihood, I had to work. It's okay, I'm clear now. Now my focus must be in understanding, discovering what happiness is. Unless and until you discover what happiness is, unless and until you discover what the reality is, unless and until you discover what you are essentially, there's no way of being peaceful and happy. You may, in between, you may feel peaceful. You may feel that you are peaceful. You may feel you are happy. Again, you will feel unhappy. In between, you may feel sometimes you are very peaceful. You may feel that you are happy. Again, you will feel very miserable sometimes. This will be continuous. There will be situations you may mistake the peaceful situation for permanent peace. You may mistake the happy situation for permanent happiness, but you'll be disappointed. You'll be definitely, okay, because there's no such a thing called a permanent happiness other than your nature. Unless and until you discover yourself, there's no way of discovering what happiness is. If you don't discover what happiness is, there's no happiness for you. There is happiness, but there's no happiness for you. No. See, there's a lot of money in the bank. A lot of money in the bank. Now the money is not there. In spite of the recession, in spite of the Brexit, in spite of all the problems, a lot of money is in the bank. You can't say it's your money, isn't it? It should come to your account. So what? Therefore, happiness is always everywhere with everybody. Unless and until I discover it as my own real nature, okay, I'll be the poorest person. You are the richest, but you do not know the richest, so you are poor. So, once I'm convinced of this fact, is going to free me from the hold of unhappiness other than discovery of happiness. In terms of discovery of my real nature, myself, what I am, means then anything else, you should know that, you should know the value of knowledge. If this is the fact, once you're convinced of this fact, then you will make all possible efforts to discover the truth. Discover not the truth, discover your own self, what you are essentially. Then you understand, okay, to discover what I am, there's a scripture, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, available as means of knowledge. So let me study this scripture. Help all the people who are studying. Even if you make efforts.
How many lifetimes do one need?
Let me tell you, come back to you. Then we don't need to worry about it. Whether this life, next life, why do we worry about all those things? Let me not waste a minute in my life. How many ever years you live, how many ever, even if you believe, how many ever times lives you live also, your happiness, your search for happiness will be endless. The search will be an endless search until you finish, you stop searching. You can stop searching only when you have discovered it. Better start today. Understand? Whether you're going to discover in this life or not, still you are on the right track of searching, discovering it. Your efforts will never fail. That's law of karma. You will definitely get tomorrow, next week, next month, before this life. You will. In case you fail also, you'll pick up the thread where you left. The search will continue next Janma. It will not be a waste. Do you want to begin this search freshly next life? Or better to even, it's better to start right now? Tell me. Better to start now, isn't it? Let me make efforts to discover what I am. Let me be given to the study of the scripture. Okay. When you are studying the scripture systematically, properly, gradually, without being worried about how long it will take, it's not like fast food, sitting in the car ordering, placing the order. The waiter will bring the food to the car. No. It's not hot chocolate. Place the order, wait for a few minutes, you'll get it at the airport. No. You don't need to worry about it. How long? Why do you think of how long it will take? What choice do I have? Do you have any choice here? If we ask you the question, do you want to be happy or unhappy? Do you want masala chai, tea or green tea? Your choice. A choice. Do you want sour bread or ordinary bread? Your choice. You want to live in Düsseldorf or Berlin or Frankfurt? Your choice. You want to live in some other European country or Germany? Your choice. You want to study in this university or that university? Your choice. You want to be happy or unhappy? Do you want to be married or not? You have choice. You want to marry this person or not? You have choice. Do you want to be happy or unhappy? You have choice. No choice. So happiness is your choiceless end. And that happiness is something to be discovered. Until and unless you discover it, your slogging will never come to an end. So if you understand this fact, you will be an intelligent person. Means you will choose to pursue the knowledge right now. Doesn't matter when I'm going to discover, doesn't matter. How long it will take, doesn't matter. Let me make my efforts right now. Let me start now. Let me do possible efforts to know. Now onwards. That's because the choiceless end. And any effort you put in here will not go waste. It will all contribute for your growth. When you are exposed to the teaching, you will know another fact. See, it is not enough if you are aspiring for the knowledge of the truth. It is not enough if you are aspiring for knowledge of your real nature, your own self. Not enough. No way. If you are aspiring for knowledge of yourself, in terms of the truth, knowledge of the truth, you must be qualified for this knowledge. This is called self-knowledge. Knowledge of the reality of the whole cosmos is otherwise said to be knowledge of one's own self. Self-knowledge. And self-knowledge also involves qualification. You want to do any course in any university, they won't give you admission for any course unless you are qualified. You must go with some certificate already to prove that you are eligible to join the course. Isn't it true? You want to do any course in any university, you must go there as a qualified person, eligible candidate. Simply go and ask for some admission for some course. They will, I'll pay the fees. No, they won't give you. You may have a lot of money to pay the fees. But they will see whether you are eligible to do the given course. Isn't it? You must have completed your school education properly, and you must have a certificate of having completed your school to enter into the university. You haven't completed your school exams. How can you enter into the university? Similarly here, even this knowledge, self-knowledge, knowledge of the reality, knowledge of your own real nature, yourself, this knowledge also involves some qualification. Eligibility is involved. And the script, Bhagavad Gita, when you're studying, it will help you understand, that what is the qualification, and you will make all possible efforts to become qualified for this knowledge. Now you forget about the knowledge. Now you know knowledge is choiceless end, because happiness is your choiceless end. Isn't it? Knowledge of the truth, knowledge of yourself, self-knowledge is the choiceless end. I need to discover what I am. That's the only way I can discover what the truth of the universe is. That's the only way I can discover what happiness is. It's my choiceless end. So scripture says very easy to attain the knowledge. But you must be qualified for this knowledge. Isn't it? So what now? If all our focus must be in preparing my mind for this knowledge, in becoming qualified for this knowledge. And that is where Bhagavad Gita teaches how one has to live one's life. Forget about knowledge. Forget about happiness. how I should live my life to make my life meaningful, to make my life complete, to make my life successful. If you ask anybody, do you want to make your life a meaningful life or not? Irrespective of what you have achieved until now, what you have not achieved. Irrespective of how you lived all these days until today. How you spend your life, how you lived your life all these days until this time. What you have achieved, what you have not achieved, what you have done, what you have not done. Forget about until now, until this time, how I lived my life, how I have lived my life, what I have achieved, what I have not achieved. It doesn't matter. Until this day, this time onwards, if I live my life properly, still I can make my life a meaningful life, complete life, perfect life, successful life. We ask the question, do you want to make your life successful life or not? Do you want to make your life meaningful life or not?
Of course.
So if you want to make your life meaningful life, if you want to, irrespective of what you have, how you lived until this minute, doesn't matter. This here onwards, if you want to make your life meaningful life, complete life, successful life, follow this way of life enjoined by the scripture. Don't question how and all. Simply ask the question, what is the way of life enjoined by the scripture? Let me understand the way of life. Let me live my life as enjoined by this scripture. In due course of time, I tell you, it's a miracle. This is the real miracle. You live the way of life enjoined by the Shastra, the scripture. Understand it, we'll teach you. Once you understand what is the way of life, how I should live my life, and you follow that way of life prescribed in the scripture. Why do you follow this life? Because this is how I live my life. In due course of time, you will see how that way of life contributes for your eligibility. How it contributes for preparing your mind for knowledge. How that way of life in due course of time contributes for the qualification, for you to be qualified for the knowledge. So attainment of moksha, attainment of discovery of happiness is very easy. Discovery of the self is very, very easy. But what involves effort is preparing your mind for that knowledge. Preparing your mind for discovery of yourself involves effort. Is it clear? Now, don't worry about the end and the means and all that. Now, the whole focus must be, I have faith. When I go to the doctor struggling with my stomach ache or my backache, my physical illness, I feel helpless. I surrender myself to the doctor's hands. I have trust in what he said. Okay? I have to trust the doctor. I have trust in him. Then, because I'm desperate, no way of free myself from physical illness. So I had trust the doctor. I accept the medication. I follow his instructions. Isn't it? Similarly, when we are helpless to sort out our emotional problem, Shastra, there's no way all our emotional problems will resolve for good if you discover what happiness is. All that you need to do is you need to discover what you are, for which you must be mentally qualified. If this is what the only solution, then I can surrender myself to the doctor called teacher, the medicine called scripture. Okay? You don't need to blindly accept the teacher. Teacher is not important. For you, doctor is important, medicine is important. Which is important? Medicine is important. Okay? You go to the doctor only for the medicine. You have respect for the doctor because he helps you. You be thankful to the doctor, he gives you medicine. But you must trust the medicine. Okay? Importance must be given for the medication. If you don't take the medicine, you simply hang around the doctor. You will be sick. Similarly, don't give importance for the teacher. Respect the teacher, but give importance for the teaching. Teaching will cure your problem. If a teacher becomes important, then the medicine, the teaching, then you are following the cult. Cult. We are not following the cult. We don't become the cult followers. We are not doing any hero worshipping here. I worship this person, he's a great person. No, there's no hero worshipping here. We don't follow any cult here. Okay? When you want to study physics in the university, you're not following the cult. Okay? You go to the university, join the physics course, you're learning the facts. Is it clear? Similarly here, it is a fact. There's no cock and bull story here. So, understand. So, follow this teaching. Your importance is given for the teaching. You respect the teacher. You be thankful to the teacher, but you follow the teaching. Is it clear? You don't follow the teacher, you follow the teaching. And the teaching, you can accept the teaching as a teaching when the teaching does not contradict your reasoning. The teaching should not contradict your reasoning. Is it clear what I'm saying?
Contradicts?
Okay.
You accept the teaching because the teaching doesn't contradict your reasoning. Then you follow the way of life. Then, in following the way of life, when you understand what is that way of life, how I should live my life, when you understand, and you follow your life based on the teaching, I tell you, you will know how to be focused. There will be struggles in life. There will be difficulties in life. There will be hardships in life. Every human being has to go through a lot of problems in life. In spite of the problems, teaching will help you how to go ahead, how to overcome the situations. I'm not saying Shastra study will free you from situations immediately. Shastra study will help you how to overcome situations, how not to get stagnant, how not to get depressed, how not to get dejected, how to be sportive, how to be hardworking, I can move on with my life. No? Once the teaching is there, the problems will be there, but how not to get affected by situations, how not to be shattered by situations emotionally. The pains will be there, but how to manage my pain, how to manage my disease, how to manage my emotions, how to handle the situations, how to overcome, how to live my life properly. Once you know the way of life, then once that is there, how to manage, and you'll be able to focus. Now you do not know how to manage, how to manage the hardships, the difficulties in life. How, when so many struggles are there in life, each and every struggle really makes you feel weak and tired, emotionally drains you. Every struggle you go through in your life drains your energy. It makes you weaker and weaker. We don't let ourselves to be weakened by situations. No. Shastra study will give you strength. The more struggles you manage and go through and overcome, stronger you become. Stronger you become. In due course of time, you are living your life meaningfully. It's a purposeful life. There's a purpose in your life. We are not here simply to waste your time. Life is very, very, very precious. We do not know when we are going to kick our buckets. Anytime we may go. We don't know. I'll die tomorrow, day after, next month. Doesn't matter when I'm going to die. Death is definite for everyone who is born here. Who can escape the jaws of death? Nobody can escape from the hold of death. Everybody has to drop one's body one day. But we are not going to be scared of death. Doesn't matter when are we going to fall. We don't need to worry about the death. If it comes, let it come anytime. But let me live my life properly. The ordained span of life, let me live properly. How to live properly? Live the way of life, understand the way of life taught in teaching, the scripture, follow that way of life. Then you're safe. You will see following that way of life. When you live your life in conformity with the teaching, I tell you, you are the disciplined person. You're a very disciplined person. And you can keep yourself in good humor. The external situations you will not allow the situations to trouble you. Situations will be there. You will manage, you will overcome, you will be progressing. Okay? And you have strength. Then thereby, in spite of these struggles in life, you will be able to focus. Okay? That is why we never teach meditation at the beginning. You're already confused. So many problems in life. How can I teach you meditation? Is it? Meditation, you must become meditative naturally. Once you follow this way of life, and once you know how not to be afflicted by situations, how not to be shattered by the struggles in life, how you are overcoming your struggles, you're progressing in your life, you're doing the needful. In spite of hardships, still you can keep yourself in good humor. Means you are living your life meaningfully. Your life is definitely a meaningful life. Okay? It's a purposeful life. And in living this way of life, not only you can keep yourself in good humor, to the best of your efforts, you will not contribute for others' unhappiness. Definitely, if possible, you will do the good for others also. Definitely, you will not make others unhappy.
So where is it written how to live the daily life?
That's the question.
Is there a book?
Okay.
You can tell me that.
Is it clear now? This much is clear now? Because some of you are already exposed to the teaching. Some of you are very new. That's why I'm just telling again and again this. Because why? I never get tired of repeating these things. The same house, the same place. I repeated the same teaching many times before.
I'm sorry.
Very different.
I'm so sorry.
But every time I talk, it's not a prepared talk.
Yeah,
I always do it differently.
it's so interesting. Yeah, really.
Spill the light.
It doesn't matter. Maybe you would not have heard me talking many times, but they had no choice.
Yeah.
They hear. Because it's the very basic, very important thing. I have to tell you this. I had no people like to listen, don't like to listen, doesn't matter. I have to tell the truth. I have to tell the fact. Isn't it? In telling the fact, I know I don't feel shy. I don't feel repetitive. I don't mind. As long as I can make people understand what I'm saying, and I'm very happy to do that. There's no failure at all for me. There's no loss for me. If I say the fact to the people, I'm happy.
Thank you very much.
So, if you ask me what is that, generally, we have the scripture called a Veda. Veda, the very name Veda means knowledge. Vedaha is one word, Vedaha. And in India, we say the Veda mantras are divided into four Vedas. But you don't need to know the whole Veda. For us to understand the way of life and to become prepared, qualified for knowledge, and to attain knowledge of the truth, knowledge of as one's own self, we need to study only the end portion of the Veda, not the whole Veda. The whole Veda is a voluminous text. And the end portion of the Veda you need to study is a tiny, tiny, small. Tiniest portion. And called Veda Anta. Vedanta Shastra. Shastra means scripture. The very word Shastram means that which helps you govern the way of life, thereby protects you. That which governs the way of life, thereby protects you. That's the meaning of the word Shastra. Shastra means that which protects you. Protects you from what? Protects you from this emotional trauma. Isn't it? So Veda Anta Shastram means the end portion of Veda, the tiniest portion of Veda, is said to be the means of knowledge. We call it Veda Anta Shastra, Vedanta Shastra. And Vedanta also, the end portion of Veda has many Upanishads. You must have heard the word Upanishad. Upanishad itself means knowledge of the truth. Upanishad, I'm not explaining the meaning word. The word Upanishad means knowledge of the truth. So the Veda has many Upanishads. Even if you study one Upanishad properly, it's enough. Properly, if you study and understand, it's enough. But Upanishads only tell you what the reality is, how the reality is, how the reality is available for recognition, discovery, as one's own self, in one's own mind, etc. Upanishads teach beautifully. But Upanishads do not tell you how to become qualified for this teaching. And we have another equally revered text, which is as revered as the original text called Upanishad. And that text, which is not Upanishad, which is not the original text of Vedanta, but which is revered as Upanishad, which is highly revered, respected, which is as great as the Upanishad, which also teaches the same thing what is taught by the Upanishad. And that text is called Bhagavad Gita. So even if you do not study the original text, Upanishad, if you study the Bhagavad Gita systematically, properly, with the help of a competent teacher, definitely Bhagavad Gita will help you understand the way of life, how I should live my life, why I should live my life, why I should follow this way of life. If I do not follow this way of life, what will be the consequence? If I follow this way of life, what will be the advantage? By following this way of life, how one can become prepared, qualified. Once you're qualified, how you can attain the knowledge. Good. Everything, to know everything, Bhagavad Gita, which is not the original text, but which is as revered as the original text. Because Bhagavad Gita presents the same teaching without any distortion.
So shorter.
In fact, it magnifies, makes it much easier. I'll tell you one thing, in a small map, tiny little letters are there, isn't it? And you struggle to see. You bring a magnifier. Bring a big glass and see. Very easy, isn't it? Similarly, the way of life, everything unfolded in the Upanishad is elaborately discussed in Bhagavad Gita. So what happens? You cannot have any doubts. Even if doubts are there, you will have clear understanding. Gradual study, elaborate study, but it will bless you with a clear understanding. So if you read Bhagavad Gita, it is enough. We have to understand the way of life first. Whole Gita, you have to repeat and repeatedly. There are 18 chapters. From second chapter onwards, the teaching begins. Repeatedly, the way of life is taught. How you should live your life. Just be with the Gita. It's enough. You will be reminded repeatedly how you should live your life. And you follow that way of life. In following that way of life, not only you will understand even the concept of God. God, the Lord, is a concept, it's a fact to be understood. You understand the value of values. You understand what it means by saying living a life of values, universal values. You will know how to be ethical. You will know the significance of worship. You understand the efficacy of prayer. And you know that how you can live your life in harmony with universal natural moral law and order. You will know how not to disturb the order. Once you live your life in harmony with the order, how you can tap the grace of the Lord. You will understand what grace means. You will understand the meaning of being compassionate, kind, truthful, honest. Real values. So everything will make sense. Isn't it? So Bhagavad Gita will give you the knowledge of how to live my life to prepare my mind for knowledge. Bhagavad Gita also will give you the knowledge of what you are essentially, thereby it helps you understand what the whole universe is essentially. As a result, Bhagavad Gita will help you discover happiness as your own real nature. That is why Bhagavad Gita is revered as scripture. There's no romantic story. There's no love failure, love success story. You discover the whole story is for yourself, your own story.
I'm going to read it.
Does it make sense to read this book in German, or do you think
No,
the essence?
the problem is, the Bhagavad Gita is a very popular book available in all the world languages. But the problem is, in whichever language you're learning, you should not read it independently. You need to understand the teaching and unfolded by the words of the Gita should be unfolded by the teacher who has understood it properly from his teacher. The teacher, the one who plays the role of a teacher is the one who knows the method of unfoldment.
We have Eva.
Look.
If you are here, we have you.
Yeah, is it clear now? That is why the thing is, people always imitate. It's not only you, anybody in the world, they think, okay, we go and buy books and read. If you go on, books are available in the market. You go and buy. Either you will not understand. Even if you understand, you may misunderstand. Or you have made wrong understanding. To understand it correctly, it needs to be unfolded properly. Isn't it? So the person who unfolds should know the method of unfolding. Therefore, suppose we have a Bhagavad Gita home study book now, which is in the form of a classroom format. It is not simple, not mere translation of Sanskrit verses. If you go in German language, the many books are available. But there are literal translations of the Sanskrit verses. If by reading literal translation, you can't understand anything. It needs unfoldment. So when we have Gita home study, I'm not saying it should be only our book, but to my knowledge, the only book available, to my knowledge. It is properly unfolded. It's a classroom format. When it was unfolded to the audience in front of my teacher, it was recorded, transcribed, edited, it's come in my books. So everything is unfolded there. So now we can have some introductory talks. Then after the introduction to Vedanta talks, then you are qualified to enter into Bhagavad Gita study. You can study. That is what I told in the very beginning. Now I'm very happy. Some of them are joining the regular. They have some regular success. Every day they have class. I think they must have gone to some chapters. They must have completed. I don't know how much they have completed. You have already gone through some chapters.
We have gone through the whole Gita, and now we started with chapter 1 and 2.
We're in chapter 2 at the moment.
But we have finished one round.
You both, not everybody.
With Pavlos, and Heike had been part of our first.
But actually, it's very good for, see, Bhagavad Gita is something which should not be read only once. You can finish and come back again. Once somebody came and asked my teacher, Swamiji, how long should we study Bhagavad Gita? Does it take 3 years or 4 years? Not to do your commerce degree in commerce or science, you may have to do 5 years, 3 years. But Bhagavad Gita is not for 3 years, it's a lifelong program. Until you understand, you have to study. Study once, you are very clear. See how clear you are. Again, restart and do it. See, if you know the value of reading it, you will never get tired of reading it. If you know the value of what is it read for, you will not be tired. That's why it's a holy text. It's for regular study. Reading Bhagavad Gita, understanding the Bhagavad Gita, and living the values, living the teaching of Bhagavad Gita is the greatest form of worship. I'm not simply joking. I'm not simply telling you. It's a fact. If you start reading Bhagavad Gita, without understanding, and you try to live that way of life, you see whether you are becoming stronger or not, whether you're able to manage the situations or not. Whether then you can ask me the question. You can come and you can sue case against me. This lady came and told us a lie. Okay? Somewhere you have to start. See, I haven't told you what is the way of life. I haven't told you. I'm talking about all about this. Otherwise, so without having a purpose of living this life, if you are not very clear about the ultimate purpose of living this life, you must be convinced of the fact the ultimate purpose of living this life is discovering the happiness which is already there as my own self, my own real nature. In discovering which the so-called problems of life, which seem to be very real for me, will resolve for good. In the light of which my perspective of myself and the world will change. In which there will be only happiness. This is the fact. It is very clear with this, then you have your definiteness about the purpose of living this life will make your life different because it's a purpose. You're not simply living your life. It's a purposeful life. And one more thing, very important thing, when we go through problems in life, struggles in life, it's very natural, very easy for anybody to have a suicidal feeling. And suicide is not at all a solution. Suicide is not a solution at all. you will also know how wrong it is to commit suicide. It's wrong. No. Life is given to you. You have no right to take the life. You have not created your own life, okay? Your life is given to you. It's meant for living, meant for your growth, meant for your knowledge. It's a purpose, isn't it? It's a purposeful life. You can't take it for granted. It's a meaningful life. There's a purpose is there, then there's a goal in my life. And how to accomplish that goal, how to prepare myself for that goal, how I should live my life is a way of life. If you understand the way of life, irrespective of what you're doing to earn your livelihood, doesn't matter whether you're working as you're doing an ordinary job, cleaning job, or professor's job, or a medical professional, or engineer, or doctor, or what you are in life, doesn't matter what you are. What you're doing doesn't matter. How you live your life, it matters. What your profession is, your profession doesn't matter. How much you're earning doesn't matter. How you do your duty, how you live your life matters. And what is that clarity that you should have to do what you need to do happily? To live your life, to do your best, to make this life meaningful. So what you need to do, what you do, doesn't matter what professional you are. How you live your life, how you do what you're doing, that matters. So if you make your life meaningful, then there's a way of life. So the study will remind you. Suppose if your mom tells you, when you were growing up very young, she tells you, see, I'm giving you today 2 euros. Keep it, it's a pocket money. Nowadays, children don't offer 2 euros, okay? I'm just telling you, those days. I'm giving you 2 euros. This is your pocket money for your snacks. Keep it safe, okay? I won't give you until next week. She tells you, she doesn't tell you one day. Won't listen. Every day she tells you. Every day she tells you, come back home early. Do your homework. You may not like it, but she tells you every day. Every day your mom and dad tell you, do your homework. Do this. Come and eat. Have your shower. Keep yourself clean. Every day she tells you tired, without tired, just feeling tired. No way, you won't do otherwise. Suppose in which mother will tell you only once she tells. Get up early in the morning, study for exams, have shower, have your breakfast in time, go to school. Do you think any mother tells you only once a day? Only once? Every day mom tells, doesn't she or not? Every day your parents will tell you. Mother doesn't tell, the father will tell you. And somebody in the family will remind you. Every day they'll tell you. No way. You need to be told every day so that you will listen, you will do it. Isn't it true or not? True or not?
Yes.
You need constant reminding. Continue. Somebody has to ding all the time. Only then you will. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita from 2nd chapter onwards until the 18th chapter, when you're reading every day you'll be told, live a life of dharma, live a life of values, be prayerful, seek grace, be worshipful, have respect for everything in the society, follow values, manage your desires, how to manage your desires, how not to be enslaved by desires. how not to give up desires. You cannot give up desires. How to handle emotion, how to manage your anger, what you should do, how not to be reactive, how to be thoughtful before doing things. So every day you will know the way of life. So that you will remember. At a once a week class, 1 week, whole week, you have to get charged. Go back and do your duties. And you will meet your friends, some friends said something and you get upset. Come back, okay, Bhagavad Gita says this. Some friend says something, some colleague says something, somewhere you're offended, somebody shouted at you, your boss shouted at you, lost your temper, so something happens, you will be so upset, awkward. Come on, these things will be there in life. Whatever happens outside, once you come back, you're with Bhagavad Gita and you're safe. Understand? So now what you need is, how can we going to understand the way of life taught by Gita? How I'm going to live the teaching? How I'm going to benefit from the teaching? Okay? This must be your effort. You ask me, I don't have any one-word answer for your question. I'm going to struggle how to concentrate. When you have struggles, you cannot concentrate. I can tell you, okay, do this japa, do this something, go for a walk. I can say it's all small things. That is not a real solution. That's only a temporary remedy. But what I told you now is a real solution. Now, after telling you this, I can tell you, better have certain discipline of doing some japa, etc. The way of life taught by Bhagavad Gita involves such disciplines also. You will learn. Okay? That's good. Now, Gita study group, weekly meeting group is ready.